A silent war is boiling under the surface of the Middle East, while the world watches Ukraine and Taiwan. Something equally historic is unfolding between Iran and Israel. Airstrikes have shattered the calm. Nuclear warnings echo through the region, and the line between deterrence and devastation grows thinner by the hour. Today, we uncover the truth behind Israel's latest strike campaign, codenamed Operation Rising Lion, and Iran's bold and dangerous response. Is the Islamic Republic preparing to build or test a nuclear weapon? Could we be on the verge of the first nuclear crisis of the 21st century? Stay with us as we reveal what global media won't tell. You backed by facts, strategy, and analysis that helps decode this unprecedented escalation. On June 13, 2025, the Israeli Air Force launched one of its most ambitious and daring operations in decades. Dubbed Operation Rising Lion, Israeli warplanes, drones, and cyber teams struck over 100 strategic locations across Iran in a matter of hours. These weren't symbolic attacks. They targeted Iran's nuclear infrastructure, military command nodes, advanced missile depots, and drone manufacturing hubs. The objective was clear: dismantle Iran's growing military threat and perhaps send a final warning before Tehran crosses the nuclear threshold. Iran's reaction: swift and furious. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps launched missile volleys in retaliation. Regional proxies, from Hezbollah in Lebanon to militias in Iraq and Yemen, began mobilizing. But behind the immediate explosions lies something far more dangerous: nuclear ambition. For over 2 decades, Iran's nuclear program has been a global enigma. While Tehran insists it's for peaceful purposes, satellite imagery, inspections, and intelligence leaks say otherwise. Today, Iran possesses over 400 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60% purity. That's just a few technical steps from weapons grade, material 90% enrichment. And with modern centrifuge technology, converting this into bomb fuel could take just weeks. The critical sites involved: Natanz, the backbone of enrichment; Fordo, buried deep under mountains; and the mysterious military facilities near Parchenofen linked to weapons assembly and explosive testing. The question isn't whether Iran can build a bomb anymore, it's whether they've already assembled key components and are waiting for the right moment. Why this timing? Why June 2025? According to insiders, Israeli intelligence had picked up unusual activity at Iran's enrichment plants and weapons testing sites. Reports suggested Iran was conducting dry-run simulations of implosion devices essential for bomb design. Meanwhile, diplomacy had stalled. Talks in Oman and Vienna had broken down. Iran's negotiators had walked away, calling them futile in the wake of Israeli provocations and Western hypocrisy. Israel feared a repeat of 2007 when it bombed Syria. As secret reactor just weeks before it could go operational, only this time the stakes are far higher. Iran isn't just building a device, it could already be storing enough enriched uranium to build multiple bombs in rapid succession. In response to the strikes, Iran has activated the second phase of its nuclear doctrine. That includes hardening its facilities, dispersing materials, and perhaps most alarmingly threatening to leave the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. If Iran formally exits the NPT, it would no longer be legally bound by global nuclear safeguards. No more IAEA inspections, no more international oversight, just full-speed enrichment, underground assembly, and plausible deniability. Some experts warn Iran may test a device in secret, perhaps in a remote region like Dasht-e-Kavir, conduct a cold test, assembling a weapon without detonating it to show capability. This wouldn't just escalate tension, it could reshape the entire strategic map of the Middle East. In Washington, the Biden administration faces a dilemma. Military options exist, but the risks of triggering a regional war are enormous. The White House has deployed additional carriers to the Persian Gulf and reinforced U.S. bases in Qatar, Bahrain, and the UAE. But sanctions, speeches, and statements may not stop a nation that feels cornered. And Israel, unlike the U.S., may act alone again, if necessary. Russia and China, meanwhile, have condemned the Israeli strikes, calling them illegal violations of sovereignty. But quietly, they're watching how this plays out, because if Iran goes nuclear, it sets a precedent for others. Build in secret, stall diplomacy, and win deterrence by force. Let's be clear, no side wants a nuclear exchange. Iran knows any use of a nuclear weapon would guarantee total retaliation. Israel's nuclear triad air, land, and sea makes it a fearsome second strike force. But that doesn't mean the risk is zero. Miscalculations happen. If Hezbollah or another proxy misfires a missile into Tel Aviv, if Israel mistakenly hits an Iranian convoy thought to carry a warhead, if cyber attacks cause confusion in command systems, the smallest spark could ignite the biggest fire. And once nuclear capability is confirmed, even if undeclared, the rules of the game change forever. The next few weeks are critical. Iran may rush to complete a device as a deterrent. Israel may consider a second wave of deeper strikes. Meanwhile, the US, Europe, and Gulf states must choose de-escalate, pressure, or prepare for a strategic shift. Public protests are rising inside Iran, where many citizens fear the country is being pushed toward war. In Israel, civil defense drills have resumed in major cities. And globally, financial markets and energy prices are already reacting. What you're seeing now may be the final moments before the world's next nuclear-armed state emerges, or the beginning of a new Cold War in the Middle East. One of Iran's most dangerous advantages lies not in missiles or centrifuges, but in its network of proxy forces. From Hezbollah in Lebanon to Shia militias in Iraq, the Houthis in Yemen, and militant cells in Syria, Iran has built a multi-front war machine without using its regular army. These groups are well-trained, heavily armed, and deeply ideological. If Iran chooses not to launch a direct retaliation, it could easily mobilize these forces to strike Israeli or Western targets across the region. Rockets from Lebanon, drone swarms from Yemen, sabotage in the Persian Gulf, this is Iran's asymmetric advantage. This strategy allows Iran to bleed its enemies without formally declaring war while maintaining plausible deniability in front of international law. But it's a dangerous game. Any major misstep could lead to direct confrontation and drag multiple nations into full-scale regional war. For Israel, the nuclear threat from Iran isn't just strategic, it's existential. Since its founding, Israeli defense policy has been built on two pillars: deterrence and preemption. When Saddam Hussein was close to building a reactor in Iraq, Israel destroyed it. When Syria began secret construction in 2007, Israel struck first. With Iran, however, the stakes are more complex. Iran is larger, better defended, and deeply embedded in global politics. A preemptive strike could spark a region-wide conflict, but inaction could allow a hostile regime to gain a nuclear umbrella. Israel's leaders are now debating. Should they go deeper and destroy Fordo, risking escalation with Russia or China? Or should they stop here, hoping the message was loud enough to halt Iran's progress? And underneath that debate is the ultimate question. Can a country that has survived against all odds afford to take any chances with nuclear survival, while bombs fall and missiles fly? The rest of the world watches carefully but cautiously. The European Union has called for immediate de-escalation, but offered no plan. China has condemned Israel's strikes while increasing its oil imports from Iran. Russia, battling its own war, has warned against Western interference in Tehran's affairs, and the United Nations Security Council, paralyzed by vetoes and politics, issuing only statements, not solutions. This lack of unified global response sends a clear message to both Tehran and Jerusalem. You're on your own. Meanwhile, world citizens from Tokyo to New York, from Riyadh to Berlin are asking, if this crisis isn't resolved now, will it be remembered as the moment we could have stopped the world's next nuclear war, but didn't? History is being written in real-time, and most of the world is missing the full story. If you want the truth behind global conflicts, hidden agendas, and the science of power, subscribe now to Decoding History and Science. We don't just tell stories, we reveal the forces shaping our future. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join a growing community that refuses to settle for surface-level news. And remember, the next world war won't start with a bang. It'll start with silence. Don't miss what comes next.